first things first. So Hunter and HBK heard our cry because it looks like Sexy Red will be appearing on next week's episode.
It.
You did call it.
And we won't get a Kids Bop version.
Yeah, as long as we don't get Kids Bop Sexy Red, we'll be good to go. But it seems like she was advertised for the May 28th edition of NXT. Trick's going to be there. I'm pretty sure Lash Legend's going to be there. I'm just curious to know, how do you feel about Sexy Red being on this episode of NXT?
Oh, it's fucking lit. I'm excited. But I'm more excited if they actually include her in the promo. Like, I feel like she could handle a script. Like, we see her act a fool on social media all the time. I just feel like, get her involved. Even if it's something temporary.
Yeah.
You know, do they have like a pay-per-view coming up anytime soon for NXT?
They have Battleground on June 7th, I believe.
Okay, that's around the corner. Like, just plug her in there and then actually have her perform over there.
Yeah.
Don't let her perform on the regular NXT. Have her perform for if she can make it.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. Because I don't think we ever had any form of rap entertainment at all. Have we ever, like, not NXT, not like Monday or Friday night?
Just on NXT?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if this counts, but when Swerve won the North American title, they had the Hit Row Cypher.
No, that's different. That's different because, like, they're making it. They're like the actual entertainment. But I'm talking about, like, outside entertainment, actual rappers, actual hip hop artists. Like, it'd be a first.
Yeah, that would be.
It'd be super exciting. So. And it's definitely a big detour. Cause, I mean, NXT was kind of bought up on. Well, we had metalheads for the most part.
Yeah, literally.
And rock music. We had like people like Poppy. Probably was the most eccentric thing that we had. But Sexy Red, be fucking amazing.
I agree. I also think that this just solidifies that wrestling is for who? The blacks. So I'm just super excited. Yeah, we can say that. But I'm super excited. Once I think we kind of talked about it on the show previously so many times that hip hop should be integrated more into wrestling. Consider how avid the hip hop community is about pro wrestling. And at this point in time in wrestling, that hip hop and wrestling go hand in hand. Obviously, in AEW, we have Swerve as the AEW World Champion. He's a rapper. He's made appearances at multiple rap festivals. DJ Who Kid obviously was at All In London. So I'm just really, really excited that wrestling and hip hop are taking a more formal merging, if that makes sense. Like, obviously, we saw Meek Mill at Mania. Get up! We saw him at Mania do his thing. Yeah, that should be the name of the season premiere is Get Up. But it's just really, really nice to see. And I feel like this all ties in like hand in hand with Nick Khan and his involvement. Obviously, him being involved in the entertainment industry for so long, he knows what's hot. He knows what's not. He has a pulse on what's going on in culture. And I feel like for a long time, WWE and the entertainment industry, there was such a large gap because a lot of times the powers that be were kind of leaning into their preferences as opposed to leaning into what could be profitable for them. So seeing Sexy Red on an NXT product, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what song she'll perform on any NXT or even the NXT. Cause what song? What Sexy Red song? Like Pound Town? Like Pound Town is not being performed at Battleground or NXT episode. You know?
What's that one that she be twerking to that's like on loop on TikTok?
I feel like that's all of them.
That is, but like there's one specifically. And I mean, it's not like we don't see twerking all over NXT. We got Lola Vice doing it now.
Yeah, literally. Before
she does her finisher. So I don't think it's that far off to bring her in. Just mute a few things, maybe switch out the words.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, it's a choice. Like I said, I expected like Megan or someone to be on before Sexy Red, but I think it's fitting. You know, I love to see like actual artists that are genuine wrestling fans, you know, have a chance to get on the show. It's going to bring more eyes to the product. But again, shout out to Trick Williams because literally his sex appeal brought her to the dance. Again, I don't even know what she watches every day. I don't know what she watches weekly, but like, that's just cool. It's just cool in general. Like, yo, like a bunch of people are going to be watching next week or what you said, May 28th.
Yes.
May 28th. All because of Trick. Just doing what he does best. It's great.
I was going to say, speaking of that, this is a little bit of a detour. I remember there was a little post that Zoe Stark made essentially saying like, wow, all these women's wrestlers are using their butts now for finishing moves. It was some tweet that was like on the lines of that. And it threw me off. I don't know if you saw it. I think you probably did. But it was just like
Yeah, I didn't see it.
it was just like so everybody's just using their butt now for a finishing move. And it felt really passive aggressive. I think it was like a Nikita shot. It was a Jada Parker shot. Do you have a problem with butt finishing butt finishing butt finishing moves? Like,
I mean, they were sprinkled around before we had the Rikishis, you know? And then Naomi hit us with the rear view. But it is spam nowadays, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Part of wrestling has an aspect of selling sex appeal. You know, it's not as directly in our faces as it was when we grew up as kids, but it's understood what people are into nowadays, and it still draws numbers. Some of the moves I don't really like. I can't stand Nikita's finisher, especially because like she's an actual fighter. Yeah. Well, maybe not an actual fighter. She does kickboxing or something like that. She does incorporate it, but it's just like a weird finisher. It's just weird to me. This is basically say, hey, I'm flexible and my ass is fat. Lola Vice, I mean, I don't dislike her, but I feel like for some reason with the way she spams it comes off to me annoying. Jada Parker, I mean, she's getting there. I don't think it's an issue that it's a finisher per se, but I wish it was more just implied and not like a finisher. Yeah. Like we already know you caked up. Like that's why we're paying more attention to you. But like I'd rather just be like a bonus and you're actually good. Like when Naomi does her rear view, I don't mind it because she don't make her ass the center of attention. You just happen to I mean, you can't get away from it. That shit huge. But like she has so many other signatures than just the rear view, and she always sets it up differently to where it don't annoy me. Yeah. And also like to get up there, like to actually jump and get your legs up there, like that takes like an actual skill.
That's
right, as opposed to Nikita just jumping and then just doing the most sloppiest split I ever seen. I hope she's not doing that to men. Cause I look like it would hurt, by the way. I always think about that every time I see that move. Like who told her to do this?
Probably men. Probably a man or herself.
Right. But it's not, to me, bad. I feel like it's the way they're going about it. I don't think it's something that's going to make it onto the main roster, truthfully.
That makes sense. I mean, we'll see, because remember, like, Hunter's in charge now, so we don't know.
I see Sean liking that. Like, Sean's clearly an ass man. That's what I'm learning from this whole experience. Nah, Sean be signing bad bitches.
Yo. Not Sean being a Billy Gunn.
I'm just seeing a pattern with the people that Sean be choosing. So, but I don't think Hunter's gonna do that. I feel like he's gonna try to sharpen them. Like I feel like he does actually like Nikita, for what I've seen. So I feel like he probably would force her to be like, hey, just be more of a fighter so people would take you a little bit more seriously. You know? Because I feel like he does well with that. He has taken people that are completely not talented, and it's painfully obvious that, like, you're here because of sex appeal. Like Alexa Bliss, for example. Yeah. Even though I think her ass is unimpressive. But, like, he took her and managed to make, not him specifically, but the way she was presented, they made it so that she still felt like a legitimate wrestler, even though I don't see her. I don't agree with that. But it was implied that she's just an attractive woman, you know, but you look at her as a legitimate wrestler. Yeah. I don't know. Just me personally. Do you have an issue with it?
Honestly, I don't. I feel like if you know what it is, here's my thing about it. If y'all weren't making a big deal over super kicks being overused, you should make a big deal of, I guess, your rear end being overused.
Those are not like near the same thing.
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing, but it's the same concept in the sense that like something can become so popular and can also be in alignment with your strengths. So you just kind of like utilize it. Granted, once again, it's not the same thing.
No, not at all.
It's not the same thing.
Can you pick a different example?
But it's a similar concept in the sense that like people just kind of lean into the super kick and they just do it all the time. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's overused. And I think that the reason why I don't think it's overused is because I think when she was talking about meaning Zoe Stark, I think that when she was talking about that, I think it was like a correlation to the NXT women. And there's such a diversity of women in NXT. Yeah. That I'm looking at like Roxanne, and I'm looking at Cora Jade, and I'm looking at Kiana James, even though she just got drafted, or and you know, Jada Parker and Lola Vice and stuff like that. So it's like, it's not like everybody is doing the same thing. It's like you have a person kind of in this position doing it, and then you have a person in this position doing it. but I don't see like so much of it that I gotta be like, oh my God, why is everyone using their butt? But I don't know. I'm kind of like impartial to it. I don't see the issue in it.
It's not hurting nobody.
Yeah, it's not hurting nobody. Could be.
Who's complaining about ass? Yeah. Be for real. Be for real. Please.
She said it, not me. But yeah, I mean, that concludes this topic pertaining to Sexyyy Red and apparently butt. So if y'all have any questions or concerns or comments about it, let us know in the comments below. We're going to be moving on